Okay, welcome back to my video. So I am going to finish making this soup. It's about 6:24. Daniel will be home about probably an hour and 15 minutes from now, so that should be plenty of time for this soup to get all finished and be ready for him to have some if he wants some when he gets home. So I'm just putting a little bit of olive oil in the bottom of my whatever this is, Dutch oven, and I'm gonna let it warm up. And what I have sitting here is the large onion that I diced earlier, a small jalapeno, 3 cloves of garlic. This is the chicken stock that I made. I have a can of Mexican stewed tomatoes, the rest of my chicken thighs that I had set aside, and then I have some seasonings of garlic powder, onion powder, some Greek oregano, cumin, and then salt and pepper. So I'm just gonna wait for this to warm up, and you can tell that your oil is ready when it starts to glisten and kind of move around in your pot. It's probably just gonna take maybe a minute or so to get to that point. But it's cold here. I am a cold-natured person anyways. I can't stand being hot, I can't stand being cold, and it kind of crept in the last 15 minutes or so that it's really and truly fall here. And it's a little bit chilly in the house. So I'm sure that this soup will feel really nice and comforting once it's all finished. I'm just gonna help it move around a little bit. It's starting to shimmer a little bit, so that's good. That's a sign that it's almost warmed up. So that is warm enough. I'm gonna get my spoon roast out. And I am going to put my onions and my jalapenos in here. I am going to go ahead and hit this with some salt and pepper. You can always go in and add more later, but I like to season as I go. So a little bit of salt, a little bit of pepper. And once this gets a little bit of color on it, probably add in some of the rest of my seasonings, the onion powder, garlic powder, oregano, and the cumin. And also once these onions cook down and are nice and fragrant and translucent, I'll add the garlic in. You don't want to add the garlic in too early because there is a strong likelihood or possibility of it burning, and that can ruin your whole soup. So I'm just going to let this sit here and saute for a few minutes. And once it's changed to the color that I'm interested in, I'll add in the garlic. Okay, it's been a couple of minutes and my onions and jalapeno have softened. They're changed colors, so definitely not as white as it was before, and the jalapeno is still a nice pretty green color. But I'm going to go ahead and add my garlic in. Stir this around, get this out of the way. Oh, fresh garlic smells so good, especially once it makes contact with the bottom of the pot. Really, really nice. And while this continues to cook, I'm going to go ahead and add in my seasonings. I'm going to add some onion powder, and some garlic powder. And I also have some Greek oregano. And last but not least, I'm going to add some cumin. Give this a stir. Oh my gosh, that smells so good. So I want to let the rawness of the garlic cook out for a second. And then what I'm going to do next is I'm going to take my chicken, drop it in here. And I don't necessarily want it to brown, but I do want it to kind of marry with the seasonings that I just dropped on the onion, garlic, and jalapeno. So this is part of what I had from my Costco chicken. I used part of it earlier to make a Thai chicken salad. And now I have probably a quarter of what I had left over. Now the chicken breasts are pretty big, so it might not be exactly a quarter, but I have a fair amount of it left over, and I'm just going to use it in here. That's nice and softened. I'm going to start pouring in some of my chicken stock. Naturally, I made a huge mess, but keeping things real, so just get that cleaned up. And I have to say too that I am actually really bad at cooking for only 2 people. I'm used to cooking for 5. Okay, so I did end up adding in another can of rinsed and drained black beans. And I also added in a can of diced tomatoes and green chilies, a little bit more salt, and I stirred in the juice of the 2 limes. And let me tell you, I didn't want tomato forward, and this is really not as tomato forward as it could be, but this is so good. It's warm. It's going to be filling without being like too much because it's got the beans in there and it does have the chunks of the rotisserie chicken. This would be great with a dollop of sour cream or Greek yogurt stirred into it just to add a little bit of a creamy element if you like that kind of thing. I am going to serve mine with fresh cilantro topped on top. I didn't want to have it stirred in and start looking like black or gross later when it's reheated, so I'm going to do that per bowl. But I hope you enjoyed this recipe. Thanks for hanging out with me.